Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. A quick little update video on the negative that I got. It was, if you remember, it was for something that sold at the start of November, and I got the negative. I think it was either just before or just after Christmas, so it's a nice little Christmas present. So it was well after the 30 days that someone can return an item. And there weren't any messages. Boom, it just came out of the blue, like, negative. What's going on? I said in my last video, which I will try and put a link into in one of the corners, that basically you have to judge each situation as it comes in. And if you think that someone's not adhered to eBay policy, the rules, and always make sure that you know your onions, know the exact rules around refunds and returns. And, generally people are allowed to return things or and your feedback policies. People can leave any feedback they want if it's down to sort of their experience of the sale. But there's certain things they can't do. Obviously, there's a feedback extortion policy, such as you give me £10 refund and I'll remove my feedback if anyone says anything like that. You can jump on and get the feedback removed. Or if anyone swears in feedback, this was blooming ridiculous, but not blooming. You can get that removed as well. But this one, I, as a rule, generally will ring up the buyer, and a lot of people don't do that. And I do that. A lot of people are quite surprised, and it's mainly, almost entirely to find out, to be understanding about what problems they have with the sale. That is the kind of I ring them up and I say, it's about, this was a pink PSP. It's about the pink PSP you bought. I see that there was a problem. Can I help you in any way? And then I will listen to them, and I will be very understanding about it all, and try and find a resolution for that. So this lady had bought this pink PSP. The buttons, the D-pad was dirty. I missed it. Someone else pointed it out to me on my last video. So that was bad on my part. You gotta hold your hand up when you've done something wrong. And also it kept cutting out. So there was a fault with it. And these things can happen after you bought them. When I got it at a boot fair, and I know the bloke I got it off, and sometimes you get a feeling, but I tested it for 15 minutes. It seemed okay, and then sent it off. But when I got it back, it didn't work. So yeah, there was a fault with the item. So I rang her up, and I was chatting with Chris and Nick the other day, and you can't assume that people know how eBay works and what they should do about returning it and refunding it. I was talking to her, and she said, "Oh well, I've got this thing that doesn't work." And she said her daughter had said to her, "Well, maybe take it into CEX and see if they can get it working," which would have been bother for her. It would have cost her money. And when I was talking to her, I said, "Well, you can return it and get a full refund. If you send it back and explain the returns process. You open a return and then send it back." And then when it's back and it's checked over, it's the important thing, just in case there's a switcheroony, or you get it back and it's totally smashed up. You've got some cover there. So I always put in that proviso about once it's checked over, that it's in the same condition that it was when it was sent. And it's the same, and security marks checked and all that sort of thing. I'll start the process for a refund. So that is a bit vague as well, because if it's a partial refund, if there is something wrong with the item, but you start the process for the refund. And so she opened a return, but what she actually did was send it back herself, which of course she didn't need to do, because it was, I think it was like defective items she would have opened it for. But that's fair enough. She posted it back, and it took ages to get back. And when I got it, she put it in a bubble mailer, but for stuff like that, I would normally bubble wrap a PSP and then put it in cardboard, because this bubble mailer, it was like a plastic bubble mailer. It had the PSP and it had the plug, like, just rattling around inside, which could, you know, potentially be plugged through glass screen sort of breakage. But anyway, it was fine. I got it back. It didn't work. You know, it's not powering on at all now. I don't know whether it's bricked or not. Refund back, a lot of money refund, or, you know, quite a chunk of money, value of a pink PSP. But it didn't. I can't remember how much it cost me originally, £5 or £10, something like that. So you got to move on from these things. You just got to get them done and move on. I had sent her a feedback revision kind of when I first spoke to her, and because the post over Christmas took a long time, I was a little bit worried that you get 10 days, the buyer gets to refund, to change the feedback. And I was a little bit worried that it was going to go, because once that time has gone, it's gone. So I rang her, but she was worried about that if she didn't get the refund, she could change the fee. If she changed the feedback, she might not get the refund. And so, again, as someone who doesn't know eBay, I basically just explained to her that now the return's open, you will get your refund. I mean, you know, if I don't refund, eBay will force me to refund, you know, in that situation, or if something can't be agreed, they step in. But as it turns out, you know, I was ringing her. I think I rang her and said, "Oh, the item hasn't arrived. Could you look to change the feedback?" She changed the feedback, you know, very kindly. She was perfectly reasonable. And then about 2 hours later, the item arrived in the post. You know, wouldn't you know it? Checked it over, looked in good condition apart from the fact it didn't work, and actioned the full refund. So you know, I'm glad I've got my, you know, negative removed. She's glad that she's got her refund. You know, you've got to see it from the buyer's point of view. They bought a PSP, it doesn't work. It was a little bit dirty. You know, spent a good amount of money on it. I mean, of course, if I hadn't said anything, what would have happened is potentially she wouldn't have put in for a return, because she would have taken it to CEX or whatever. So I wouldn't have had to refund the money potentially, but I would have been left with a negative feedback. So, you know, what's best in that sort of situation? Would you rather sort of pocket 40-50 quid and have a dissatisfied customer and a negative feedback, or, you know, from my point of view, if I bought something, I'd expect to get a return on in that situation. So you got to hold your hand up and go, yeah, you know, put that one down to experience, move on. I mean, as soon as it was dealt with, it's forgotten about, and that's how you got to be with anything, you know, be it like a £10 return, a refund, or £200 refund. You know, they're gutting at the time, and the same with negative feedback. It's gutting at the time, but you've got to have a point where you just sort of forget about it and move on. But there you go. I'm in the car because I'm doing a school run. Kids are back at school, and I've just picked up a load of Spectrum stuff, which I'm going to go through tonight, or start going through. Get my teeth into that one, and I'll probably do a little video on that, because not many hauls going on at the moment. So it looks like there's a few tasty bits in there. So hopefully that will be coming up in a couple of days. If you did enjoy this video, do click the thumbs up and ring the bell. I've got a little catchphrase at the moment, which is source, list, sell, subscribe and ring the bell. I mean, I wrote it and then it rhymed. I'm a poet and I don't know it. It's unbelievable. But yeah, I hope you're all having a good sort of new year, and take care, and I'll see you soon for the next video.